I would just say give it a minute or two to let all the attendees join before
Yes,
you start.
thank you. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar, Life is Better Electric, hosted by the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission. We have special guests from San Francisco Environmental Department and physicians from Social Responsibility. My name is Elisa Rodriguez Fury. I am a public relations officer for clean energy programs for the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission, and I will be facilitating this webinar today. Today's webinar will be available in Cantonese and Spanish. To join interpretation with our Cantonese and Spanish interpreters, Aijing and Gigi, click the interpretation world icon in the menu bar. Aijing and Gigi, please briefly introduce yourselves.
大家好，我係今日嘅翻譯，我係吳小姐，我係廣東話翻譯，你好，thank you。
Bienvenidos y buenos días a todos. Gracias por estar en el webinario de hoy. La vida es mejor eléctrica. Los anfitriones son la Comisión de Servicios Públicos de San Francisco, con invitados especiales del Departamento del Medio Ambiente de San Francisco y médicos para la responsabilidad social. Mi nombre es Elisa Rodríguez Furi y soy la oficial de Relaciones Públicas para los programas de energías limpias para la Comisión de Servicios Públicos de San Francisco y estaré facilitando este webinar. El webinario estará disponible en cantonés y español. Para unirse a interpretación, en cuanto aparezca el icono, haga clic en el menú.
Thank you. A few housekeeping items before we start. Today's meeting is being recorded. To activate live transcription, please select the CC or closed captioning button at the bottom of your screen and click Live Transcript. To participate in Q&A, please select the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen to type in your question. To join interpretation with our interpreters, Aijing and Gigi, click the interpretation world icon in the menu bar and then select the language channel you want to join. Now, Aijing and Gigi will repeat this in their languages. Aijing, can you please repeat this?
大家好，我哋今日會提供廣東話同埋西班牙語嘅翻譯服務嘅。如果需要翻譯服務嘅朋友啦，你一陣間喺我哋啟動咗翻譯嘅功能之後咧，喺屏幕嘅下方會見到一個地球儀嘅標誌，寫住 Interpretation 口譯，跟住撳入去選擇語言。咁如果想聽中文咧，就選擇中文。咁我哋今日咧都會提供字幕嘅，咁就喺熒幕嘅下方咧有個按鈕寫住 CC，咁就會顯示啦即時嘅呢個字幕嘅。咁同埋我哋希望咧，大家可以參加我哋今日嘅問答環節。如果有問題想問我哋呢啲講者嘅話咧，你可以利用我哋嘅屏幕下方有個 Q&A， 即係問答意思嘅呢個按鈕，撳入去啦，你就可以將你個問題咧用打字嘅方式打出嚟。咁關於翻譯服務啦，如果今日你哋大家係用手機入嚟嘅話咧，咁你會喺熒幕上面咧見到有3個點寫住更多嘅，跟住點入去就會見到口譯，跟住再點入去咧就可以選擇語言，就中文就聽到翻譯嘅服務啦。多謝大家 ，thank you。
Algunos puntos antes de comenzar. La junta de hoy será grabada. Para activar la transcripción en vivo, seleccione CC o Closed Captioning, el botón en la parte inferior y haga clic en Live Transcript o transcripción en vivo. Para participar en la sesión de preguntas y respuestas, por favor, haga clic en el botón Q y A en la parte de abajo de su pantalla y escriba ahí su pregunta. Para unirse a la interpretación, con alguno de los intérpretes, haga clic en el icono del mundo que aparecerá en unos segundos y seleccione el canal del idioma al que se quiera unir.
Thank you so much, Gigi and Aijing. Now you can go to your language channels, please. If you want to hear this presentation in English, please stay in the English language or icon. Next slide, please. Today's webinar is being hosted by the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission. We are a department of the City and County of San Francisco. We provide high quality drinking water to the city of San Francisco and wholesale water to 3 Bay Area counties. We provide clean, reliable energy to San Francisco residents, businesses, and municipal facilities. We also manage the collection and treatment of wastewater, which helps protect public health and the environment. Our mission is to provide our customers with high quality, efficient, and reliable water, power, and sewer services, to be inclusive of environmental and community interests, and to sustain the resources entrusted to our care. Next, please. The SFPUC has been providing clean, safe, reliable public power for San Francisco for more than 100 years. Today, we continue to serve as the city's local clean energy provider. Next slide. Here we offer 2 clean energy programs that serve San Francisco. The first is Hetch Hetchy Power, which is San Francisco's not-for-profit public power utility. Hetch Hetchy Power energizes some of San Francisco's most important municipal assets, including our streetlights, our airport, the general hospital, the public libraries, schools, muni, etc. Hetch Hetchy Power also serves many affordable and public housing buildings and new developments, including the San Francisco Shipyard and the Salesforce Transit Center. The SFPUC also operates Clean Power SF, San Francisco's Community Choice Aggregation Program, or also called CCA program. Clean Power SF provides renewable electricity for more than 380,000 residential and commercial customers across the city. Through Hetch Hetchy Power and Clean Power SF, these programs provide more than 75% of the electricity consumed in San Francisco today. For today's webinar, we're going to be presenting you 3 different perspectives on electrification. We will start off with learning what electrification is from the San Francisco Environment Department. The San Francisco Environment Department drives climate action and enhances the quality of life for all San Franciscans. As a department within the city and county of San Francisco, it leads with innovation, collaboration, and bold environmental policies. We will then hear from San Francisco Bay Physicians for Social Responsibility. They are the San Francisco chapter. They are going to talk about health benefits for electrifying your home. SFA Physicians for Social Responsibility combines the power of community activism with the knowledge and credibility of health professionals to promote public policies that support our intertwined areas of concentration: the environmental health, nuclear weapons abolition, social and racial justice, and reducing the health burdens of vulnerable communities. Also, education of the public and next generation of health professionals. And finally, we will have a presentation about our programs and incentives related to electrification that we offer here at the SFPUC. After that, we will have a Q&A session with our panelists, and we're going to try to answer as many questions as possible. As a reminder, please use the Q&A function in your menu bar to submit questions. We're going to try to answer as many of your questions as we can during today's webinar. To kick off today's webinar, I also like to introduce our 3 presenters today. With us, we have Nick Hesner. He is the Senior Building Decarbonization Coordinator at SF Environmental Department. Nick oversees the development of policies and programs to support building electrification in existing buildings. He and his team have also created a citywide outreach campaign to ensure that residents and businesses are aware of future building regulations and the benefits of all electric homes. We also have with us Agustina Muguera. She is a climate policy specialist at the San Francisco Environment, focusing on research, outreach, and community engagement. Agustina is currently leading the Better Electric campaign, working to accelerate electrification in the city to reduce emissions and create a healthier environment for all San Franciscans. We have Dr. Brent Andrews, who is a former Associate Chief of Neurology at Kaiser Permanente and continues contracts work there. Dr. Andrews focuses primarily on advocacy for climate health policy and building electrification and presents to physicians, policy leaders, and communities. He's also a co-founder of Niche, Neurology's interest in climate and health, and a board member of San Francisco Bay Area Physicians for Social Responsibility here in San Francisco. We also have with us Daniel Young. Daniel is the manager of customer programs for the SFPUC Power Enterprise. He and his team develop and implement all of the energy programs available for HHE Power and Clean Power SF customers. Daniel has 15 years of experience in the energy industry with a focus on energy efficiency, distributed energy resources, and electrification. Thank you, everyone. I will now turn it over to Nick and Agustina, and they will begin today's webinar.
Thanks, Elisa. Hi, everyone. My name is Agustina, and I'm going to talk about home electrification, otherwise known as kicking gas to the curb. Next. If you were in San Francisco in 2020, you certainly remember this day. The wildfires brought an extreme smoke event that impacted our health, routines, and livelihoods. So the city of San Francisco recognizes that we are in a climate emergency and need to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and our usage of fossil fuels, such as natural gas and petroleum. Next. To do so, San Francisco has a climate action plan that sets a strong goal for the city to reach net zero carbon by 2040 and shift towards electricity that is 100% renewably sourced from wind, hydro, or solar power. So carbon emissions come from a variety of sources, including agriculture and waste, but the majority of San Francisco's climate emissions come from natural gas used in buildings and petroleum fuel used in cars and trucks. Next. And this is important because the state and the region have upcoming regulations that will help us get to net zero. By 2027, the sale of gas water heaters will be banned, followed by the sale of gas furnaces in 2029. Next. So some of us have taken the first step into electrifying by adding solar to your roofs, and a few of us have electrified our vehicles. But the next step is to electrify the appliances in your home. Next. So beside climate benefits, there are several other benefits of electrification. Next. There are an array of performance and efficiency benefits of electric equipment. Electric technology for your home and vehicle also tend to work better. And electric equipment can really be an upgrade for your home and one that you will notice direct benefits on a daily basis. Next. Electrification not only provides more comfort, but it also enhances San Francisco's resilience to changing environmental conditions. So things like electric heat pumps provide dual heating and cooling, and induction cooktops reduce kitchen heat. So all of this helps combat heat waves. Moreover, electric vehicles will soon serve as backup batteries for your home, storing renewable energy to help balance the grid. And finally, electricity restoration after disasters such as earthquakes is much faster than gas line repairs, which improves our overall community resilience. Next. There are also potential cost savings with electrification. So if you have an EV, you will save money on maintenance and fuel, especially if you're producing your own power with solar panels on your roof. Next. And finally, electrification improves home air pollution and safety by eliminating gas pollutants and fire hazards. And Dr. Andrews will go deeper into the health benefits of electrification later on. Next. So now I'm going to turn it on to Nick, who will explain how to make the switch. Thank you. You're muted, Nick.
Sorry about that. Next slide, please. I want to share with you a little bit about where natural gas is located in your home. So today we'll be talking about furnaces or boilers, water heaters, clothes dryers, and gas stoves. Next. We've put all those appliances as well as solar panels and an EV on this diagram. And I'm going to be working my way through that in the next couple minutes. Next. I probably don't need to say much about PV systems. Many of you are familiar with those. They are the heart of an all-electric home, but they're actually the last piece of that home that we recommend people install, because it's always good to know exactly how much power your home needs before you decide to provide that power with solar PV on your roof. Next. The big new technology that we are all excited about is the heat pump. And here we're talking about heat pumps that provide heating and cooling in your home. The way that a heat pump works, unlike a tea kettle, which generates heat through a coil, a heat pump actually uses very little electricity to move heat from the outside into your home in the winter and from your home to the outside in the summer. So it's like an air conditioner that can work in both directions. And because, as I said, it doesn't generate the heat, but just moves it back and forth, it is unusually efficient. Next. That heat pump technology is also used by heat pump water heaters, only mostly those are located outside your home. And so it will take the heat in your garage or in the outside air, and it will concentrate that heat inside the tank and provide your home with hot water. Next, please. The third technology is the induction stove. Now, this is not the electric stove that you may have experience with from 20, 30, or 40 years ago. These don't glow red or orange when they're working. Unlike other technologies, these induction stoves work by actually generating a magnetic field which directly heats the pot or pan that's sitting on top of your stove, and it doesn't actually heat the stove itself. So as a result, it's unusually efficient because the energy and the heat is going exactly where it's needed. Next, please. In comparison to a gas stove, induction stoves are a lot faster. They don't produce emissions, whether they're on or they're off. The surface is only hot when you're using it, and it's very difficult to burn your fingers on an induction stove. They're super easy to clean because the surface is entirely flat. You don't have to deal with the grates or the grills from a gas stove. And just like a gas stove, and this is something that chefs really appreciate, the temperature can be increased and decreased very precisely and very quickly. So you don't have that momentum effect from old electric stoves. Next. In case you're a renter, there are many countertop options that you can just plug into the wall to shift your cooking from gas to electric. And that includes portable cooktops like the one you see in this image. Some of my friends actually placed this kind of a cooktop on top of their gas stove, and they use it for 90% of their cooking unless they're having lots of guests over. But there's other technologies like slow cookers, toaster ovens, a new batch of air fryers. All of these cook your food with electricity, and so they don't generate their own emissions, unlike a gas-powered device. Next, please. And then the last appliance is a heat pump dryer. In this case, we're not heating air from outside and moving it into the machine. Instead, we're actually creating a hot drum inside the machine, and then a separate area underneath the drum that gets really cold. And so the moist air that circulates through your clothes actually condenses underneath the drum, and that water can just be pumped out just like the water from your laundry machine. So as a result, you don't need a vent for these kinds of dryers, which saves you an additional hookup. Next step, please. Yeah, and then of course the final technology, which I will not go over in detail, is the electric vehicle. Many of you have seen them on our streets, and about 40% of new vehicle registrations in San Francisco already run without gasoline. Next step. Now, when we're talking about EVs, I did want to bring up that there are multiple kinds of charging and charging speeds. If you're installing a charger at your home, we actually recommend a level 1 charger unless you're commuting for longer distances. Level 1 chargers are basically just chargers that plug into your home right now. They have very little electric demand. And if you're just using your car around town, that should suffice. If you are commuting maybe to the South Bay on a regular basis, then a level 2 charger, which requires some electrical upgrades, might be a good investment. And that, of course, has a bigger impact on our grid, which is why we really want to use it only if you actually need it. Next slide. And then finally, I'm not going to go into detail here, but I just wanted to point out that there are a number of level 2 and DC fast chargers around San Francisco. I've used an electric vehicle for many years now, and it's not a problem to find a place to charge it in San Francisco, even if you did need to top off in less than 30 minutes. Next slide. And finally, as far as making the switch goes, it's important that you switch to an electric rate plan if you are transitioning your home to all electric technologies. And that's simply because this E-Elec rate plan lowers the rate, the electric rate for the power that you procure from the grid. And it's specifically designed for people who have either an electric vehicle and or battery storage and or one of the electric technologies that I've just shared with you. So the way to find out which electric rate is the best for your home is to log on to the PG&E portal and do a rate comparison, which you can do, I think, twice a year. And they will let you know which rate you should be on. Probably a good thing to do after you've had a few months under your belt with the new equipment that you've installed. Next slide. We're not going to go into resources and incentives here today, but I just, when we share the slides, you'll have access to the links that I'm about to share, and that will give you plenty of opportunity to dive into the details of electrification. Next. One caveat I want to mention is incentives are constantly changing, and they are the most generous right now. So if you are able to act on electrification, I would definitely take advantage of those incentives as soon as you can. Next. In general, we recommend a 3-step plan. First, you develop an electrification strategy, and we've got some links here for companies that can help you do that. Then you or that company look into incentives, financing, and contractors. We've got links here that will allow you to do that on your own. And then we also want to remind people to sign up for the PUC's Super Green Electricity that was mentioned earlier, so that any remaining power that you need from the grid is as clean as the power that you might generate on your roof. Next slide. We've got a similar set of resources for renters, in case there are renters on this call. Next slide. And then we did want to call out one specific program that's available to renters and homeowners. If you are income qualified, we have a program that will replace your 8-year or older heat pump gas water heater with a heat pump water heater free of charge. Next slide. The requirements are listed here. Basically, this program is available for anyone who earns less than 80% of the area median income. As one example, if you were a 4-person household, that would be about $120,000 a year. But on our website, we have a way you can look up whether your home qualifies. And really importantly, if you already participate in one of the programs listed here, you automatically qualify for the program. And even if you're a renter, you could take advantage of it, but you will have to get your landlord to sign off on the installation of the heat pump water heater. Next slide. And finally, there are a number of incentives available for EVs and chargers. I'm not going to go into them in detail. Next slide. But we do have a set of resources here that allow you to plug in your zip code, what kind of a vehicle you're looking for, whether you want a used one or a new one, and all of the incentives, both for chargers and for EVs, will pop up like magic. So definitely check out this website if an EV is in your future. Next, please. Finally, everything I've mentioned is listed on our betterelectric.org website. So whenever someone asks me, where can I go next to find out more, this is the one website that does it all. And it will also refer to some of the PUC programs mentioned later. So we like to say betterelectric.org is the only address you need to know. Next slide. Great. Now it's my pleasure to pass the microphone on to Dr. Andrews. He'll be talking a little bit about the health benefits of electrifying your home. Dr. Andrews, take it away.
Good morning. Thank you. I'm going to talk today about air pollution, environmental justice, and how electric homes make us healthier. By moving from, next please. By moving from gas to electric appliances, we will quickly better the health of our communities by improving air quality. And this also will help reduce the greater air pollution health burden that justice communities suffer. And it will protect our health future by reducing planet warming greenhouse gases. Next, please. You may think that the windy, foggy San Francisco air is great. But the Bay Area has the 5th worst annual soot levels in the nation. That's the PM 2.5 particulate levels. And Hunters Point neighborhood, a justice community, has some of the worst air. Sources include cars, trucks, airplanes, ships, industry, wildfires, and buildings. These all add together to pollute our air. Next, please. The health harms of gas appliances are coming from burning of various appliances, burning gas. And these are stoves, water heaters, furnaces, and clothing dryers, as well as others, which emit air pollutants that are polluting our indoor air and our outdoor air. The indoor air pollution primarily comes from stoves because they don't vent directly outside. Eventually, all the exhaust from our appliances goes out, and about 80% of that is from space and water heating in our residential homes. Next slide, please. The indoor air pollution from gas stoves and ovens and heating is toxic. It contains nitrogen dioxide, which is one of the most important because it may have serious health consequences with long-term exposure, and because it makes up a large portion of the appliance exhaust. Chronic lung diseases, asthma, strokes, and dementia are associated with chronic nitrogen dioxide exposure. Carbon monoxide, which we think of as causing those dangerous rare leak events from furnaces, also comes from our appliances as a pollutant. And typically, it's in smaller amounts that may cause mild symptoms like fatigue, headaches, and chest pain, which should dissipate when one gets into clean air. Next slide, please. Kitchen and heating exhaust also produce other toxic compounds that can cause temporary symptoms or even cancer, like benzene, formaldehyde, and these other gases. Also, small soot particles, those particulate matter PM10 and 2.5, can cause chronic lung and heart and brain problems and even premature death with chronic exposure. Next slide, please. We can protect our families from stove and oven toxic pollution in our kitchens and in our homes by outdoor venting hood fans if you have them, or by opening windows. We recommend using any electric appliances you can whenever possible for cooking in the kitchen. Many people are enjoying this new induction plate technology that Nick mentioned, air fryers, microwaves, and even we can replace our gas stoves and ovens if possible. Next slide, please. So why can our stoves be so dangerous? Well, the typical gas stove and oven can produce unsafe levels of nitrogen dioxide and benzene that can linger in our homes, even in the distant bedrooms, for hours. People living in small homes have 4 times more long-term nitrogen dioxide exposure than people in larger homes. And these smaller homes are typically in lower income and environmental justice communities. American Indian and Alaska Native homes have about 60%, and Black and Hispanic homes about 20% more nitrogen dioxide than the national average. So what are the benefits of going electric? Well, we know that if we stopped using gas for cooking in California, that alone could reduce childhood asthma by 20%. And completely moving to heat pumps for water heating and space heating in the Bay Area is estimated to save 85,000 premature deaths, stop 110 new cases of asthma, and prevent countless emergency room visits and lost days of work and school and other health harms. Next slide, please. Environmental justice communities suffer the worst burden of this pollution. It's a combination of all the other pollution sources and our indoor air pollution. So the communities that you see in red here are the upper 1/3 and of exposure, and they are environmental justice communities. The increased outdoor air and indoor air pollution combine for a greater health burden. Next slide, please. How does air pollution cause a greater health burden in environmental justice communities? Well, in the Bay Area, people of color are exposed to 55% more nitrogen dioxide pollution than the mostly white neighborhoods. And national air pollution models can often underestimate the localized air pollution levels in these environmental justice communities. And we know that children, elders, and people with pre-existing medical conditions are particularly sensitive to higher air pollution in these communities. Next slide, please. Environmental justice communities have compounded health risk due to increased air pollution and multiple other factors. These communities are often near heavy pollution sources, and this is due to economic racism and redlining. For example, and these economic policies put these communities very close to toxic sources. Other social and environmental determinants, including lower income, unsafe neighborhoods, racism as stressors, or increased noise, lack of green spaces, less food choices, and job opportunities, to name a few, compound the stress and the health burden. And also, these homes tend to be smaller with older appliances, and often they don't have venting to the outside. Next slide, please. You can learn more about electrification not only from the sources noted earlier, but we also have some resources on the Building Electrification Health Information website, and we'll include a link in the chat. And also the SF Environment Department has links. Next slide, please. The San Francisco Climate Equity Hub is a collaboration between the San Francisco Environmental Department and 8 San Francisco EJ organizations, as well as San Francisco Bay Physicians for Social Responsibility. And we aim to utilize the clean energy transition as an opportunity to address inequities by developing programs that make electrification financially beneficial for environmental justice communities. This slide set was made possible through the Community Climate Implementation Fund, housed at Climate Mayors, a project of Resources Legacy Fund. Thank you. And I'm going to pass the slides now to Daniel Young for his discussion of further programs.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Andrews. Good morning, everyone. My name is Daniel Young. I'm the manager of customer programs for the SFPUC. So the SFPUC has a long history of helping our customers minimize their impact on the environment and switch to clean energy alternatives. And today, I'm going to provide an overview of some of the programs we offer that we hope will kickstart your transition to a fully electrified way of life. Next. So first, it is important to understand that electrifying your home means you will be using more electricity in your home. So as more and more homes get off of natural gas, the demand for electricity will continue to grow. One of the best ways to meet this new demand for electricity and control its cost to you is to invest in installing solar on your roof, which can help reduce your electricity bill. So the Go Solar SF program has provided incentives for rooftop solar in San Francisco since 2009. And in that time, the program has paid out roughly $30 million in incentives and has helped to install over 6,000 solar systems in San Francisco. About 3 years ago, in 2022, we launched the Solar Inverter Replacement Program. So this program helps income qualified customers that installed solar through the Go Solar SF program keep their solar systems working properly, specifically by helping with maintenance of the inverter. So inverter inspection and repair can be expensive, and it's not something that people typically plan for. And what this program does is it provides $3,000 in rebates to inspect repair or replace inverters, and helps make sure that these customers can continue to benefit from their solar systems and help manage their electricity bills. So today, changes to net energy metering compensation have changed the value proposition for rooftop solar. In response to that, we are actively exploring ways to continue to support distributed generation for customers, including through incentives to install battery storage systems. Look out for that coming soon. Next. Over the last couple of years, we have incentivized residential clean power SF customers to install heat pump water heaters. Specifically, we offered a program that provided incentives to contractors to install heat pump water heaters instead of gas water heaters. While this version of the program recently ended, we are now transitioning to a new program model that's going to directly reward our customers. So this model aims to address one of the biggest challenges to broader adoption of heat pump water heaters, namely the lack of a compelling economic case to make the switch, since most customers don't necessarily see significant reductions on their energy bills when they switch to a heat pump. So these credits will change that. So the new program model will provide a $50 bill credit directly on your monthly electric bill for 2 years for any eligible customers installing a heat pump water heater. And if that customer is on an income qualified rate, the program will provide credits for up to 3 years. So to be eligible, customers must enroll their water heater in a demand management program, and this will help customers maximize their financial benefits by automatically scheduling their water heater in a way that will save them the most on their bills. So you can think of the program as rewarding you with free water heating for 2 years when you electrify today. Next. Last year, we began offering the all-electric multifamily program, which provides free electrification-focused building energy audits for affordable housing sites served by our public power utility, Hetch Hetchy Power. So these program participants are first provided with a detailed decarbonization plan to help them understand their path to fully electrifying their buildings. We then help connect our customer to other programs that might offer financial support to make the upgrades. We also provide a head start on utility service planning as needed if we expect the site to need to make upgrades to their electric panel or to increase their electric service capacity. So this program has been a really good learning opportunity for both our customers and for us on the challenge of electrifying large old multifamily buildings, and there's a lot of those here in San Francisco. It's not going to be an easy task, but we're proud to be proactively engaging and supporting our customers during this process and helping them develop their electrification strategies building by building. Next. So we see this really amazing testimonial for this program from Magda Szymanska, who is the Associate Director of Sustainability for the Tenderloin Neighborhood Development Corporation. So I wanted to share that with you all here. As a next step, we're excited to be opening up this program to buildings served by Clean Power SF as well, starting later this year. Next. In addition to supporting building electrification, we also have programs to encourage transportation electrification as well. So these two goals are very closely related since they're both served by the same electric utility infrastructure. So we first began EV Charge SF in 2023 to provide monetary incentives and technical assistance for customers interested in installing EV chargers. So any existing building or a new construction project is welcome to apply, and we'll help you find ways to exceed code minimums for EV charging. Quick anecdote here, one of our first program participants was a Habitat for Humanity's affordable housing site, where we provided $13,000 to help them electrify 6 parking spaces. While this isn't the biggest project our program has supported, we know that it can be especially hard to get EV charging installed at affordable housing sites. So it's especially rewarding to be able to highlight success stories like this one. And so I'd like to share a quick testimonial from that participant. So Maureen Sedonin, the CEO at Habitat Greater San Francisco, said, quote, "We are incredibly grateful for the San Francisco Public Utility Commission's EV Charge SF program The team partnered with us to make EV charging a reality for our Amber Drive homeowners, many of whom would not otherwise have had access. To date, we've enrolled over 50 projects, resulting in over 600 parking stalls being electrified. So we know that the state and the city have huge goals for EV adoption over the next 10 years, and the demand for EV charging is only going to increase. So we're excited to be directly supporting those goals through this program. Next. Finally, last year, we launched a program promoting electric bikes or e-bikes for income qualified customers. In spring of 2024, we had an initial round of the program offering where we provided $1,000 point of sale rebates for qualified customers purchasing eligible e-bikes at participating local retailers. So this rebate covered close to the full cost of the e-bike and was a real benefit to help customers rethink how they get around the city. In total, we provided over $350,000 in rebates during this first round of the program, and we're excited to be working on the next round of incentives for e-bikes and expect to reopen the program for a new and expanded pool of applicants starting later this year. Next. So in summary, the SFPUC is proud to support our customers with the transition to a carbon-free electric San Francisco. We're committed to making sure everyone can benefit in a clean energy future. We offer several electrification programs for our customers to minimize their use of fossil fuels and consider clean energy options. The programs I presented today are all summarized here on the slide, and you can find links to each of them if you'd like to learn more. That's all I've got for today, and I'll pass it back to Elisa.
Thank you, Daniel, and thank you to all of our panelists today. We're now moving to Q&A session, but before that, there is a quick summary of what we discussed today. Nick and Agustin spoke to us about the benefits of home electrification and how to make the switch and what are the resources available for that. Dr. Brett Andrews taught us about air pollution and environmental justice and how electric homes make us healthier. And Daniel, he described all of the amazing programs and incentives that the SFPUC offers through its Clean Power SF and HHE Power services for customers to make the transition to electrification with clean energy. And now it's time to answer some questions. We will try to answer as many questions as possible. And Haley, I would like to bring everyone else, thank you, to the screen. So we have one question, and this is for probably Daniel and Nick and Agustina. How can I encourage my landlord to electrify? Daniel, would like to respond to that question?
Sure. Well, there's a lot of great reasons to electrify, as you've heard from Dr. Andrews and from the SF Environment team. I think obviously the health benefits are important to everybody. I think landlords also need to be aware of upcoming codes that are going to require electrification in the future. So you know, upgrading now is a great way to get ahead of some of those codes that are coming down the pike. And yeah, Nick or Augustine, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, we had a workshop with contractors and we asked them about what messaging they use with homeowners, but the same thing would apply when you're talking with a landlord. And basically, Daniel hit the nail on the head, talking about the fact that there are incentives available now to future-proof your home so that when these regulations take effect, the landlord doesn't have to scramble when their gas water heater goes down or other appliance goes down. That seems to be the thing that resonates the most. In the future, it may also be that your insurance rates are higher if you've got gas versus electricity. So there's a lot of kind of selfish reasons, I would say, for the landlord to do this. And then, of course, if you're income qualified, there's nothing better than telling your landlord you could get a free heat pump water heater because I live in your building. And I think most landlords would say, I better not miss this opportunity to get some free upgrades for my property. So definitely think about it from the landlord's point of view and not necessarily from your own.
Thank you, Nick and Daniel. We also have another question from the chat. Where can we go to find more information about heat pumps for condos?
Heat pumps for condos. It's tough to say that a heat pump water heater. Sorry, did you say heat pumps or heat pump water heaters?
Heat pumps.
Okay. I think in general, our advice is always find an electrification advisor first, make that electrification plan, because without knowing the specifics of your building, it's hard to say exactly where that heat pump would go or whether, which technology is the correct one. There's multiple types of heat pumps and electric heating systems. So I would say the place to go first is betterelectric.org, and under renter and, well, particularly under homeowner resources, we've got a link to the electrification advisors that will generally do this work, this assessment, for free. And they actually get paid by the contractors who end up doing the actual installations. So there's no upfront cost usually to have an electrification advisor help to answer questions like this one.
Thank you. Thank you. Daniel, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, basically, yeah, just kind of echoing Nick, I think every building is going to be different, especially in San Francisco. We have a lot of multifamily buildings, and one of the things we've learned through our all electric multifamily program is just that every building we go into has a different system and may require a slightly different solution. So it's really important just to look at your building and get answers for yourself, really. And there's a lot of great resources to kind of learn generally about the technology and how it's used elsewhere, but at the end of the day, you want to look at your building on its own.
Thank you. I have, now that I have you here on the screen, I have a question for both of you as well. I have found that the contractors I talk to are not educated and dissuaded me from moving electric. How do we find educated and supportive and affordable and also available contractors who do support these efforts?
You want to check this one first, Daniel, and then I'll add anything as necessary?
Sure, I can go first. So that was really the objective of our first program. It was a contractor-focused program where we were providing incentives directly to contractors to basically help them get familiar with this technology, and it was incentive for them to really kind of grow that contractor base in San Francisco to be able to support this. Yeah, that work I'd say is obviously not quite done. So there's still education that needs to happen. But yeah, so in terms of finding actual contractors, there are some resources. I believe through our program that we have a list of participating contractors for the old program. And Nikki may know of other places to point people. So
yeah, I was going to say on our betterelectric.org website, as I mentioned, we have everything listed, including the list that Daniel just referred to, which is a super great resource for heat pump water heater savvy contractors. We also have a link on that website to Switches On, which is an organization that's promoting electrification of all buildings in California. And they have their own contractor list where you can plug in the technology you want to have installed, where you live. It's a typical online portal that will then spit out a bunch of contractors that know these technologies and are certified to accept the rebates and pass them along to you. So the answer, as always, is betterelectric.org, but hopefully that gives you a sense of what to look for when you're on our website.
Thank you. I have another question. This is basically for everyone here. At some point in the future, does it mean no gas will be provided to single family homes? So Nick or Daniel or even Dr. Andrews can answer this question, please.
I can start. I will say, yes, that is the long-term California plan. And basically this idea that we will slowly over time prune back the gas network. So we stop investing in replacing old pipes and instead electrify whole neighborhoods at a time. So once again, as an individual property owner, it makes sense to get ahead of this. But eventually we'll be at a point probably around 2040, maybe the late 30s, where we start to see this happening en masse, just because it doesn't make sense to invest in two ways to heat your home, right? Two ways to power your home, I should say, gas and electric. So the state has to make a choice because there's only so much money to go around. And in order to meet our climate goals, we will be phasing out the gas network in this direction. So I think that's the short answer. Dr. Andrews, do you want to add anything or?
No, I think you nailed it on the head. It's hard to tell the policy in the short run, but that is the goal in the long run, and I'm sure we'll be seeing that over the next couple decades.
Thank you. I have one more question for Daniel. When does the heat pump water heater program go live? Can you tell us more information?
Yeah, we're working on it very hard right now. We're hoping to go live in the next month, so starting in May. And right now the plan is to make it so that anyone who installs their heat pump water heater after our previous program ended, which is middle of March, would be eligible for this new program. So whether you install it today or you wait until our program is live, you should be able to apply once you, again, are fully eligible through applying for signing up for a demand management program for your heat pump water heater. You can get our credit. So no need to wait for the program to go live. We'll be ready to support you when it does.
Thank you, Daniel. Agustina, we have a question for you regarding heat pump water heaters as well, but they're asking if this is available for condos and where they can find more information. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, so there are some resources on our Better Electric webpage, and I believe the PUC team had some other things to share.
Thank you. Daniel, I don't know if you'd like to add to that.
Yeah, so our bill credits program would be available to anyone who has a Clean Power SF account. And if you have a heat pump water heater connected to that account, you would be eligible for our program. So again, this goes back to, there's a lot of different configurations in multifamily buildings in San Francisco. So it's hard to know, with certainty whether or not each condo owner would be eligible. Again, just kind of depends on how that building is set up. But our program is meant to get benefits directly to account holders with us.
Great, Daniel. And now that I have you here, one more question for you. Will federal changes impact the programs discussed today, like Go Solar SF, All Electric Multifamily Program, EV Charge SF, e-bike, etc.?
Yeah, so basically changes at the federal level with everything that's going on. So the short answer is no, none of our programs are directly funded by federal dollars. So we feel pretty secure about being able to keep our programs available. That said, there's a lot of stuff at the federal level that probably will impact how easy or hard it is for you to electrify, with or without the support that our programs provide. So it's hard to know exactly what that's going to look like, but we do expect that things will get harder with less federal dollars in general.
Thank you. Dr. Andrews, one question for you. For people that can do the transition to electrification right now that live in underserved neighborhoods, any recommendations you have health-wise?
Well, there are programs in some neighborhoods where the neighborhood is going all electric, and those are limited right now. But I think this is a exciting time where this is going to grow, and you can contact us at PSR to inquire if you have questions about this specifically, and we can help further.
Thank you, everyone. Well, it seems that those are the questions that we had for today. I wanted to thank everyone, but before doing that, can we please bring the slide, Haley, for next steps? Thank you. So we wanted to ask your opinion. Please help us filling out a very short survey that we're dropping into the chat right now. Let us know if you found this webinar valuable. What would you like for us to improve, or do you have any other suggestions for future webinars? if you have any questions about our programs here at the SFPUC, please visit the links shown on the screen. Also, if you have any questions for our panelists today, please contact them directly. You can see their emails on the screen as well, and we can add this to the chat. Also, please note, we will be sending this recording of the presentation today. You're gonna have all this information, and you're gonna be able to see the presentation again if you would like to. Next slide, please. And lastly, I really want to thank our speakers and panelists for their time today. Thank you also to our interpreters. Any last word that our panelists have for us today?
We look forward to accompanying you on your journey to an all-electric home.
Great. Thank you, everyone. I want to thank all of you, our participants, for attending. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and we see you for our next webinar. Thank you.
Thank you.